What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first ever episode of Friday Night Wars. I am Joe Morley.
And I am Mike on the mic. Welcome, everyone, to the first ever episode. This is going to be the hottest debate show on YouTube / on the radio today. So basically what we're going to do is me and Joe are going to have topics where we have to disagree on. We have no choice but to try and disagree and give our argument for why we believe in the opinion we believe in. Now, a disclaimer. We might not actually think the way that we are arguing, but no matter what, we have to take opposing sides. And then you guys are going to get to vote who won the debate, who won the battle, who won the Friday Night War for that week. And then in the next week, the winner's going to come on and talk a little bit of smack talk. What do you think, Joe?
Oh, I think it's going to work out great. So you're saying I don't have to give my own opinion. I could just go ahead and switch it up and give you my fake opinion of what somebody else is thinking. It's going to work out great for me.
That's kind of your profession of lying to people.
Yeah. That way you never know what exactly I'm thinking. You just assume that that's the way I'm thinking and you go with it and, hey, find out who's lying, who's not, right?
It's those Raiders fans, man. They're big liars. They're good liars. Dirty players, too. Anyways.
We're not. Well, that's another debate for another day, but we won't get into the Raiders right now.
Anyways, let's get straight into the debate. We got a little time to waste. Let's go.
Should we put the NFL season on pause?
Should we pause the NFL season? Yeah, I can make an argument that we should pause it because how many teams have had positive COVID tests so far? Not every team has been hit as bad as the Tennessee Titans. You know, they got 20 plus positive tests. Some teams have been able to contain it to one or two players, which is great. But I don't want to pause the season just because of two or three employees, which, I want to keep it low. I want to pause the season because I want to put them in a bubble. I want to put them down in Texas. Put them down in Texas where there's not only are you going to use NFL stadiums, you can use college stadiums because there's no fans. Or if you want to put fans, I would recommend not putting fans. But let's pause it. Let's move everybody down there. Let's get everybody tested. Let's get them clean. If you want to get the hotels ready, get the stadiums ready, let's do it. Put them all in a bubble. Use Texas like as an example. And if you want to put their families down there, let's bring their families. But if their families are going to come, they're going to have to adhere to the same testing as the players. No one in or out of the bubble. And you just go and play your games. Let's pause the season for that. Let's adjust the schedule. Let's adjust the schedule too. Pause it. Let's adjust the schedule. Let's put some games on Saturday. So we have Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Hey, why not Tuesday too? Tuesday worked out good, right? So let's do that. Why have them all play on Sunday? I'm just throwing out ideas. You know what I'm saying? That's my reason for pausing the season.
That was good. All right, Joe. I see what you're saying. I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one. All right, so start my timer. Let's get this thing going. Round 1, should we pause the NFL season? Look, if we pause the NFL season, we may lose the NFL season. Think about it. This isn't the NBA. You don't got 15 players, right? It is way harder to get a 53-man roster, its coaches, the staff, to all avoid this virus during a lockdown, or if the NFL goes on pause, as they're calling it. If these guys focus or lose focus, I should say, on playing on the field, they will lose focus in avoiding COVID when they're out on their own. In fact, a pause may cause more players, in my opinion, to contract COVID-19 than avoid COVID-19 just because they're going to be on their own. They're not going to be under the strict protocols that we have them under right now. And they won't be so focused on playing because we're in a pause. So, we're waiting for the NFL to start again. We won't know when it's going to start again. The NBA was able to come back from a pause because there was a lot less people directly involved. They have a lot less people to test every day. They have a lot less people involved in getting an NBA game going versus getting an NFL game going. The quantity of people involved in the NFL is just surely too many to keep under control and keep under strict control, especially. That's why you're seeing a bunch of people still testing positive despite all the protocols. A much more effective plan, like you're saying, would be a bubble, but we cannot pause the season for the bubble. I think the bubble would have to be put in place for the playoffs. I can see the NFL mimicking the NBA, exactly what they did, kind of putting them in a bubble, maybe in a Disneyland type situation. I know there's an outbreak around the league right now, but we have to calm down, keep following the protocols. Baseball went through it. We're going through it. We're going to get through it.
Does this finals win elevate LeBron's legacy?
Yes, Joe, it does. Why, you might ask? Well, let's look at the LeBron Hate Club's biggest gripes over the years. His road to the finals was too easy. He's in the East. LeBron James can't lead his team to a championship on his own, right? He only has 3 rings. He bounces from team to team ring chasing or chasing the best team he could possibly find. I've heard it over and over my entire life. The fact is, LBJ went to the West and in one short year took the Lakers from the dumpster fire that they were to the number 1 seed in the West and won the NBA Finals, finishing second in the MVP votes. Then, midway through the season, when the Lakers were absolutely red hot, the season gets shut down, killing all momentum. How did LeBron respond? How did LeBron's team respond? Like it never happened. Continue on with the mission. And while Anthony Davis is one of the best players that LeBron has ever shared the court with, he averaged 29, 11, and 8 in the finals to close his 17th season out with his 4th championship. Are you kidding me? At his age, this is ridiculous. This guy is the best player in the world and has been for over a decade now. LeBron has 4 rings, yes, on 3 separate teams, everyone. But you know what that means, Joe? He's not chasing rings. He's not chasing greatness, as all these people say. Greatness is following him. The championships are following him. Everywhere he goes, everyone follows to build a championship team. Everywhere LBJ goes for the rest of his career, he will bring greatness with him, and his legacy will never stop elevating.
I liked your argument. Don't get me wrong. You gave LeBron his little props. Let me go on. All right. So does this help him? Does it not? A lot of people say, like you said, 3 different teams, 3 different championships. Okay. He has all these great players with him. In the Miami Heat, he had the big 3. He has all this, right? Well, right. I know I'm supposed to argue against it, but I can't because usually I am a LeBron James hater. Usually I was on that train, just like Laker fans last year before he came over to the Lakers. Everybody was a LeBron James hater. Well, guess what? This year he won me over, so I'm not even going to argue against him. I can't even argue against you, Sean. I have to go along with you. And I know I'm breaking the rules of the show, and I'm breaking it already. But look, LeBron James winning this championship does help his legacy. Everybody knows now. I haven't been on the side of saying LeBron James, is the greatest player to ever play the game, but now I'm leaning that way. He has 4 championships on 3 different teams, like you already mentioned. The man has played in 260 playoff games. 260 playoff games. That's 3 extra seasons. 3 extra seasons. Most people won't even play 3 seasons in their career, and this guy's doing it in the postseason. You know what I mean? Getting this 4th ring at the age of 35 also puts getting 6 in reach, and that's like the holy number to basketball players, right? A lot of people have diminished. A lot of people will think that's the number he has to get to be like great as Michael Jordan, right? And I just laugh at it. Basketball has actually played. They actually played like 70 games, right? Before they went into the bubble, they played 70 games, and I think that's pretty hard. I think that's a lot harder. This season was a lot harder than any other season because not only did you play 70 games, then you went on a little break, and then you had to come back into a bubble. And I don't think a lot of players are ready for that. You basically had an off season and then had to come back and win playoff games. There was absolutely no home court advantage in the playoffs, in the bubble, and the players' minds weren't there. They're in the bubble, and LeBron's kid's out there getting in trouble on the streets, and what is he gonna do? He's gonna FaceTime him. I'm gonna FaceTime my kid. That's hurting you, right? I heard a good line the other day. Some guy called in on a radio show, and he said, in 20 to 25 years from now, people will laugh at us that we even had a conversation saying that LeBron James wasn't the top player in the NBA. So that's why I can't argue with you today. I want to argue on this. Trust me, I would love – if you would have hit me up a year ago, I would have gone against LeBron James. But this time, I'm going to give him his respect, and I'm going to bow down to the king.
So he's earned your respect.
He had to. Like I said, like a lot of people are just, downplaying the COVID season, but I'm not. I think the COVID season makes you a lot better than past seasons.
It was one of the hardest seasons, in my opinion, to win a championship just because of everything they had to go through and everything they had to do to win the NBA Finals this year. I understand that the Clippers didn't make it to the Western Conference Finals, but that ain't LeBron's fault. Get off his jock, man. Come on.
One last thing. If you want to bring up LeBron James having good teammates and stuff, everybody has. Go in history.
Yeah.
And look, it's not just one person that won the championship. They had somebody right there with them. So LeBron James just because he brings players over doesn't mean, he needed them. It's just an extra spot. Let's go secure this championship. Do it. And who knows? Was AD winning championships over in New Orleans? Hell no, he wasn't.
Nope.
So does that mean that AD needed LeBron, or did LeBron need him? Doesn't matter. They got that ring, right?
Exactly.
Did Tom Brady make the right decision?
Joe, everyone listening, why did Tom Brady go to Tampa? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Is it because of the Patriots' lack of weapons? Yes. Is it because the Patriots are not paying him the money that he wanted to be paid? Yes, slightly. Is it to have fun? I'm sure it is. Is it to retire in the sunshine? I'm sure it's a part of that too. Is it because Tom Brady, TB, is extremely marketable in Tampa Bay? TB. Yes. This probably all has something to do with it. Regardless, if you look at New England or look anywhere else he could have possibly went, none of these things have changed, especially in New England. So I think Tom Brady did make the right move. The Patriots clearly still have no weapons. They're relying on Cam Newton to open up the ground game and fuel the entire offense single-handedly. Tom wasn't going to be able to do something like that at this point in his career. He wasn't getting his $25 million a year in New England. They're paying Super Cam the absolute bare minimum, and I'm pretty sure that's what they planned on paying a quarterback after Tom Brady left, especially because they didn't really pay Tom Brady while he was there any kind of max contract deals. Now, while the Patriots are more exciting with Cam Newton, and you could say, wow, look, if they had Tom Brady, maybe they're Super Bowl contenders still. But it would have been business as usual if Tommy Boy was still there. They would have still been the same boring offense. They still would have struggled when they got to the playoffs, just like they did last year with Tom Brady. And Tampa Bay is going to make him even more and more millions of dollars every year that he's able to market that name. Brady is where he wants to be. Brady's where he should be. Brady has made the right decisions for himself and his family. It's time for him to put himself over the organization of the Patriots for the first time in his life. What do you think?
Yeah. You made a good point for him going to Tampa Bay, right? Okay, I think he made the wrong move. I can tell you right now. In New England, he was comfortable. He was loved by everybody. They didn't want him to leave. They weren't like kicking him out. There wasn't like most players were like, get him out of here. He's done. They wanted to keep him. He wasn't forced out to leave. He left on his own. And you know what? He's still loved, and he's still a legend in New England. But this tarnishes it a little bit. It tarnishes the Brady name in New England. Just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Just like when Brett Favre left and he left Green Bay, everyone knew it was time, but nobody wanted to see him leave. Nobody ever wanted to see him leave. Even if Brady does go and win in Tampa Bay, people are going to wonder what he could have done and what he still had left in New England. For some reason, changing teams is always held against great players. It's always held against them. It happens more and more often, that players switch teams. But for some reason, people always wonder why they couldn't finish it in their with that one team, why they had to switch teams, why they can't finish your career in one place. Also, what did Brady have to prove? What else does he have to prove? You know what I mean? What does he have to prove? He's 43 years old. He has 6 Super Bowl rings, and I understand the love of the game. But at some point, you just need to walk away. Going to Tampa just hurts his legacy in New England and probably everywhere else because he gained a lot more haters in there. The only thing that would have gained him more haters if he would have had a big press conference that said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach, right? That would have been the only thing that would have hurt him even more than what he did.
Are you saying that he made the wrong move because he should have just retired?
Have you seen him play? Have you seen him play this year?
I've seen him play.
There's a couple times where you're looking at him and you're like, does he still have it? And I think in New England, they worked around him because New England's offense compared to Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay is working now. They're changing the offense and they're working with him. But in New England, he had they knew what his skill set was. They knew he was already diminishing just a little bit. So they threw those little screen passes. That's why they have James White. That's why they have Burkhead up there, because they know he's going to have to throw these short little 5-yard passes, and that's what Julian Edelman was good for. And now you go to Tampa Bay, and people are wondering, why isn't he finding Mike Evans deep? Why isn't he, yeah, he has some injuries there. But if you look at their offense, they're fixing it around him now. They're not throwing it deep like they used to because Tom Brady, he might have it mentally, but physically, he's going away.
I mean, he's an old man. He's an old man, man. He's playing into his grandpa years here at this point. I mean, some people are grandfathers at what, the age of 45, 50? So, I mean, I will say that he has declined a little bit. When you watch him play, you can see his less arm strength. You're seeing a lot of hitch routes and out routes getting undercut by cornerbacks. I am a former cornerback. I played pro ball overseas. I played corner, and the reason that's happening is because he doesn't have as much zip on the ball. So I do agree with you that he is diminishing a little bit. I think Tampa Bay just needs to tweak their game plan and not expect Brady to come out and be, 25, 30-year-old Tom Brady. They should expect 43-year-old Tom Brady, change the offense a bit, run the ball a little more, give him some more screen plays, and the defense is going to come up when they just do a couple weeks of this, and then he can start slinging over their heads because he can still get it downfield. I'm a Chargers fan. I saw him do it.
And that, like you brought up the defense. The Tampa Bay defense is pretty good. They're a pretty good defense. So if you run the ball a little bit less and, you don't score every time, you're not going to do it every time. Okay, you didn't make a good drive this time. That defense is good enough to get you out as long as you don't make the mistake. But when you're throwing the pick sixes because you're trying to force it, you're going to hurt yourself. And in that Charger game earlier this year, we saw it. Like a lot of people were excited. Oh, Tom Brady threw 5 touchdowns. But why did he have to throw 5 touchdowns? Because he put his team in the hole. He put his team in the hole in the first half, and he had to dig himself out. Luckily, he was good enough to do it. But how many times can a 43-year-old be able to pull himself out of a hole?
Yeah, they definitely got some kinks to work out. But hey, you saw what happened when LeBron went to Los Angeles, right? I know it's a different sport, but LeBron went to Los Angeles and the team couldn't get it going with him. He got hurt. In most seasons, LeBron would play through, a strained groin. It sidelined him for 30 games. That would never happen if he was playing in Cleveland or in Miami. So, they kind of just gave up on the season, right? Tom Brady and the Buccaneers don't need to just give up on the season. They can still get a wild card this year, maybe pull that division out, but they really got to look into the future. They got to set something right now in the game plan to where they're thinking, okay, we are running this handoff. We're running this screen to set other plays up so it's easier on Brady. Brady does not have to make miracle plays. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with you. I feel like he made the right decision. So agree, disagree.
Yeah, we'll go back and forth. But either way, we agreed that he diminished a little bit. So maybe it was just wrong on Tampa Bay to bring him in.
Maybe. That's true. That's a good call, actually. That's a good call. Anyways, everyone, that's the show. We have a limited time slot here on the Ryan Sports Show. We'd like to reach out and say thank you to the Ryan Sports Show for giving us this platform to start this show up. It's going to be a great time. We're going to work out the kinks as we go, and it's going to be a fun time. What do you think, Joe?
Oh, I think it's excellent. I hope you guys enjoyed the banter that we have back and forth. It's pretty hard for us to even get along on here. You being a Charger fan, me being a Raider fan, sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but they kind of forced us to go together. No, I'm just give you a hard time on that.
Oh, man. I'm going to make a point to wear blue. No matter what I do, I'm going to wear blue. And you're going to have to wear gray, and we're just going to keep it going back and forth. At least we can agree on baseball. We can agree on the Dodgers a little bit.
And if you guys don't agree with our opinions, we love to hear your opinions.
Yep.
And we're always available, and you guys can find us at the Ryan Show Sports Instagram, along with our Instagrams, Mike on the Mike and Joe Morley Sports. Find us up and hit us up. We're always available. We're always willing to listen to everybody.
Yep, and anyone that's watching on YouTube or listening on the radio. So here's what's going to happen, right? You have listened to all 3 of our arguments. We're going to put clips up on YouTube. We're going to put clips up on our social media pages. Head over to the Instagram pages Joe just mentioned. You can go to the Ryan Sports Show. You can go to Joe Morley Sports, or you can go to Mike on the Mike Pod, and there will be guidance on how to vote who won this week. If anything, just DM us, but we're going to get something organized probably before this even comes out. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in. You got anything closing? Final statements? Raiders suck. They do.
Oh man, we'll save that for another one.
We'll save
I'm good with this one. Appreciate everybody listening, man.
What up, Friday Night War Army? Did you enjoy the show? I'm glad to hear that. Before you do anything else, stop and take a second to hit the subscribe button below, so that way you're notified every week when we put out our newest and latest episode. If you're wondering how to vote, super simple. Just drop a comment on this video, put round 1, 2, and 3, and put the name of the person who won that round. You can vote for myself at Mike on the Mic, or you can just say Mike, or you can vote for my opponent, Joe Morley, or you can just put Joe. But don't vote for him. He clearly lost this battle. It's obviously that I'm going to win every single week. If you want more content from us, we produce content all day, every day on our Instagram pages. Head over to our network page and check out at The Ryan Show Sports. Links to so many different sports podcasts, so many different great creators, and to the network itself that we work with. Also, if you want to see our personal podcast, head over to at Mike on the Mike Pod, or head over to at Joe Morley Sports on Instagram, and there will be links to everything that we do across the board. Let us know in the comments who won the first ever Friday Night War.